what would you do differently if the statute of limitations was really only 9 months? You would probably look at every case a little differently. You would probably take a few more steps to move the case quicker, and you probably would be able to handle more cases. So I'm going to talk about just ways you can be more efficient. So if you shorten the lifespan of your case, look at all the benefits that you have. You know, your phone's not ringing all the time, a lot less letters, your staff is happier, and really you have a lot more room for more cases. Or if you're working on some really big cases, you have more time to develop and focus on those. So this is a nice benefit. So how much time are we putting into cases, or how much time are we wasting on cases? What I can tell you is that at our office, we've set up systems, and I'm going to share those systems, a lot of them with you. Some of them are so detailed and stuff, it's not really worth getting into it. But I wanted to share the big picture systems with you. So you guys might look at some things that you could do in your office as a way of organizing your cases so that you could tell quickly where that case is. And hopefully, by saving yourself some time, you know, you'll also make a little bit more money, or you'll eliminate the cases that are costing you more money and more time than it's really worth, which is important. Someone once said, it's the cases you turn down that determines how profitable you are. You know, we all tend to take some cases we shouldn't, and they become big black holes of time, money, resources, stress, wear down your staff, that sort of thing. So how can we increase the value of our cases? Is the shorter time from injury to them getting paid, you're going to prevent them from being exposed to lots of problems. So second crash, bankruptcy, social media, you know, all the things that they can do to hurt themselves can happen, gaps in treatment, all of them. These are all real risks. Funding loans, how many people deal with that all the time? It's really frustrating. All right. So I talked to a lot of lawyers, and they seem to have this set pattern of, okay, you sign the client up, after a little while, you let them treat for 6 months, then you order all the records, and as a result, you send out a demand. And that sounds like, okay, that's sort of the general pattern. But I'm going to suggest to you that if you take a couple different steps in a different way, you may speed things up and make a little bit more money. Because people, a lot of lawyers are like, well, they're not at MMI. Well, they don't necessarily need to be at MMI to send a demand. So something to consider, you know what, I love pre-existing conditions. That makes a case easier to win. And I'll get into that a little bit more. That's something you shouldn't shy away from. And it's really important, I think, that when you meet the client, that you pre-frame them or frame them correctly to say, you know, a lot of people are afraid to tell their lawyers and they're afraid to tell their doctors about prior accidents and injuries. And I really hope that you know that the law says that people who have pre-existing injuries, they're entitled to more money, not less, because they're easier to hurt and harder to fix. And so let's talk about your pre-existing injuries. Let me hear about every time you went to an emergency room, whether it was for a sports injury or work, or you went to a chiropractor. You know, let's go through all this stuff. And suddenly the client warms up a little bit and they're a little less reticent to hide that stuff. Because I say, if you want to downplay that, then your case won't be about the injuries you sustained from this crash. It will be that, you know what, this person lied to their lawyers, lied to their doctors, and now they're lying to you, jury, for money. So you have to really get them pre-framed early on so that they're comfortable with bragging about their pre-existing conditions.